Greetings, friends. Ukrainian drones continue to attack the territory of the so-called Russia almost daily. Last night there was a strike on the city of Orel, but the consequences still need to be clarified. At the same time, yesterday during the day, Ukrainian drones not only kamikaze but also bombers attacked the place in Yelabuga where the Russians manufacture and assemble the Iranian-Russian Shaheeds.
We certainly have it available. There.
Unfortunately, during the brutal attack, only a single Russian soldier tragically died, but there were also several others who were wounded in the skirmish. The rest of the factory workers ran away.
That's great, friends, but
unfortunately, it's not enough, just as our strikes on the Russian energy infrastructure are not enough. It's been a while since Russian oil refineries burned, and it's probably about time. Yesterday, Russian scum carried out a massive combined attack on the city of Kremenchuk using drones and missiles. And this happened after the United States of America strongly urged Ukraine not to attack Russian energy infrastructure.
After the Americans asked us not to strike Russian energy facilities. And at the same time, Putin himself is trying to present himself as a mediator for the Middle East and is attempting in any way to help his allies.
The Americans have repeatedly asked the Russians not to attack Ukraine's energy sector as well. But, as we can see, Vladimir Putin, to put it bluntly, doesn't give a damn about what Trump is asking. Trump will still say that Vladimir Putin is his friend. Meanwhile, the Israeli-Iranian war in the Middle East is gaining momentum, and believe it or not, the Russians have managed to find a Ukrainian connection there as well.
The Islamic Republic Special Services have detained Mossad agents who were assembling drones not far from Tehran.
According to the Russians, it was either the security service of Ukraine that attacked Iran, or conversely, Mossad attacked Russian strategic aviation.
So who was actually behind the planning and execution of the operation against our strategic airfield? After a year and a half of preparing such an operation against Russia, these topics inevitably overlap.
I have to admit, it's actually Ukraine that runs the world. But that's still a secret for now. Don't tell anyone, or better yet, go ahead and donate to the current Rusorises. The military needs your support.
It's thanks to you, the people who never tire of donating, that we hold the sky and the ground. Every drone is a tool for victory, and every high hryvnia you give is real help. Rusorize is your personal investment in your best possible future.
All the payment details, as always, are in the description of this video. I highly recommend that you donate at least one hryvnia. It really matters. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if for some reason you still haven't. Yesterday, Israel continued to strike Iran, including cities located far to the west of Israel, and even the Iranian capital, Tehran. I remember when it all just started, Russians were asking, where did the Iranian air defense go? Why is it ineffective? I think now that question is rhetorical, judging by how the Israeli defense forces are publishing videos of their airstrikes on the Iranian capital. The Russians supplied Iran with air defense systems, and they can't admit that these systems were of no help. They simply weren't enough.
The two S-400 batteries that Iran has from Russia, what can they do against 200 aircraft?
But it's worth noting that Iran has also achieved some significant successes in fighting against Israeli aviation, because Iran managed to shoot down several aircraft that were generated by artificial intelligence. I think that's how it really was. The question remains open as to where the so-called supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, has gone. He has disappeared somewhere and has hardly been seen in recent days. There is information that he is preparing for evacuation, but that's not confirmed. However, anything can be expected, including opposition protests. There, Iranians protest against their dictatorial regime much more seriously than Russians protest against Vladimir Putin. In general, Russians protesting against Putin sounds like a joke. And in Tehran, the vibrant capital city, Iranian citizens are vociferously shouting, "Death to Khamenei!" I must emphatically note that there is also something profoundly negative for us, for our beloved country, in Israel's recent and aggressive attacks against Iran, since Israel has systematically started striking Iran's crucial energy infrastructure, including vital gas fields and other essential facilities. It's a long explanation as to why exactly, but this could potentially lead to a gas shortage in Ukraine during the next heating season. There is also another danger. If Iran blocks the Strait of Hormuz, which is a quite likely scenario, this will pose a major threat not only to Iran's oil exports, but also to those of other countries located near the Persian Gulf. Accordingly, oil prices will rise even further. In turn, Iran also continued yesterday to carry out retaliatory strikes against Israel, primarily using ballistic missiles. There is considerable destruction in the capital of Israel and in other cities. There have been casualties, including unfortunately several Ukrainians who lost their lives. Representatives of Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs made an urgent statement in which they declared that Iran is ready to sign the nuclear agreement right now.
We are absolutely ready for any comprehensive agreement whose primary and ultimate goal is to effectively prevent Iran from ever possessing nuclear weapons, ensuring global peace and security. We are ready.
They are ready to capitulate, but not quite ready yet. In order for them to be fully ready, the United States of America must condemn Israel's actions.
The United States government, in order to prove its goodwill regarding nuclear weapons, must condemn the attack on peaceful nuclear facilities.
Of course, this is quite unlikely, but personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump condemns Israel. Anything is possible, especially since Israel was condemned by Trump's ally, so-called Russia.
Vladimir Putin condemned Israel's military operation.
The day before, Vladimir Putin called Trump to congratulate him on his birthday. They had a wonderful, grand, the most magnificent conversation, during which Vladimir Putin offered to act as a mediator in potential negotiations between Iran and Israel. Officially, Iran and so-called Russia are allies. That would make for excellent mediation.
I don't believe that Russia, which is currently involved in a high-intensity conflict and for several years now, has chosen not to abide by the United Nations Charter, can in any way serve as a mediator.
Macron, what are you doing?
I think that the Russians, despite essentially abandoning Iran when it comes to assistance, will still secretly and to a limited extent help it in the war against Israel. Well, that is, of course, if they have time. On Russian television, they are inciting hatred towards Israel.
Israel is a classic artificial entity, an exclave created by the West.
But that still won't stop Netanyahu from calling Vladimir Putin once again. Well, and in so-called Russia, there's basically mourning. Their mood is not very good. And not only because their ally is obviously losing, but also because they wish they could do the same.
And why was Israel able to pull off Tehran in 3 days, while we still haven't managed Kyiv in 3 years? Well, what can you do? There's nothing you can do.
Russian scum keep wandering around our land, and while they're waiting for an apartment in Kyiv, they get hit by FPV kamikaze drones, and then they cry about it.
200. I won't make it. Birds, completely gone.
Still, since the Russians are advancing in small infantry groups and don't care about their losses, they are still making progress. The situation remains difficult in the Sumy region. The enemy has occupied several of our settlements. And the situation is even more difficult on the eastern front. The Russians are making advances in the Pokrovsk, Kostiantinivka and Novopavlivka directions. We are receiving a lot of requests from these sections of the front, and not only from there, and everyone needs help. Even a single hryvnia that you donate can make a big difference. So join in, the payment details are in the description. And meanwhile, over the past 2 days, thanks to you, our soldiers have received 485 new FPV drones.
We are members of Ukraine's defense forces, protecting the borders of Sumy region. This is not the first time we've received kamikaze-type drones from the Sternenko community. Thanks to all Ukrainians who joined the fundraising efforts and help us destroy the enemy. Glory to Ukraine.
Thank you to the Sternenko community for these drones, for our defenders. It is thanks to you, the people who never tire of donating, that we hold the sky and the ground. Every drone is a tool for victory, and every high hryvnia you give is real help. Helping the army is not something abstract. It's concrete actions that save our comrades every day. Thank you to everyone who stands with us. Together to victory. Glory to the heroes. The Defense Forces of Sumy region thanks Serhiy Sternenko's community for the batch of FPV drones provided.
We, the fighters of the Unmanned Systems Battalion of the 1st Separate Assault Regiment, thank Serhiy Sternenko's community for the FPV drones provided. Thanks to them, we'll be able to destroy even more enemies.
The 109th Brigade, specifically the anti-aircraft battery, thanks Serhiy Sternenko and his community for providing 30 Odin drones. Together we are strong.
Wishing you good health. We are the fighters of the 77th Separate Air Assault Danirl Brigade. We thank Mr. Sternenko's community for the assistance of 21 units which help us destroy the enemy. Together to victory. Glory to Ukraine.
Glory heroes.
Wishing you good health. The Falcon unit of the 39th Coastal Defense Brigade thanks the Sternenko community for these wonderful drones. By the way, today they will already be heading to the positions to do their job. Together we will win. Glory to Ukraine.
On behalf of the soldiers of the 77th Air Assault Brigade, we thank the charitable foundation Sternenko community for providing 15 drones with intelligent guidance, which will help us more effectively destroy the enemy in the Kharkiv direction and bring our victory closer.
We, the Battalion of Unmanned Systems of the 110th Mechanized Brigade, sincerely thank Serhiy Sternenko and his community for providing 100 FPV drones. Each of these drones is an investment in the safety of our guys, an investment in the guaranteed destruction of the occupiers' equipment and manpower, an investment in our shared victory.
We value every donation you make, every repost, every word of support in the comments.
They say if you don't know what to invest in yourself.
Russeries is exactly that personal investment in your best possible future. Thank you, community. Thank you, Serhiy, for your constant support and help in destroying the enemy. Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to the heroes. Friends, the war in the Middle East undoubtedly matters to us and to our war as well. But the most important thing right now is to support our military, to continue helping the security and defense forces of Ukraine.